Hey everybody, it's Missy again with the Hip Kit Club, and I have a new layout for you today. This is my third layout using the 2016 November kits, and my assignment for this week is to use the color kit, and so I'm going to do that here momentarily. I'm going to start out with this sheet of paper. It's one of the December documented papers, and this is my picture. It's my youngest child trying to get into the water at the bottom of the Christmas tree. She's like a little puppy, and she's obsessed with getting in that water down there. And we have constantly, well, this is actually from a few years ago, but she was constantly trying to get into the water, and we were always trying to figure out a way to get her to stop. And she just looks adorable because she was busted several times. So anyway, I started this layout based on one of the new Hip Kit Club member forum sketches, and I kind of shrunk it down a little bit, and it kind of ventured out on its own, but it's loosely based on the sketch. That's where I got the basis of this idea. So I wanted to use both sides of that beautiful paper from the December documented kit. Kim Watson designed this, and it's so pretty. I just love both sides, and so I cut sort of a chunk of it on one pattern, and then I cut a smaller chunk of it. I'm going to use the other side, and that's going to sort of just be my base. And on the sketch, the entire background was split between two papers, but I kind of, like I said, shrunk it in so it wasn't as large. And I am going to use my color kit, so the first thing I'm going to do is come in with some white gesso and do some smudging. And I just used my hand for this because I wanted it to be kind of soft and faded, and you can still see underneath it without it being completely whited out. So I'm doing kind of what I always do here. This is from the color kit. This is the Colorings Well Blue Me Down, and it's a shimmers. It's a really pretty teal aqua color with a blue base. Matches everything in this kit. So nice. And I'm just trying to make some watercolor look behind my picture there. And a lot of this, you know, like normal, you're going to cover up with embellishments in your picture. So my objective is to make it to where it's kind of just coming out from behind everything. So to do that, you kind of have to put a lot of spray or liquid or whatever it is you're working with down to make it look like there's not a whole lot there, if that makes sense. So here's the stencil. This is an Echo Park stencil that's in the color kit, and then this is the Dazzlers and foiled again. It's a very pretty light shimmery shiny silver, and I'm just using a foam applicator here that you would use to blend distress inks, and I'm just lightly getting a little bit on there and then just kind of brushing it and dabbing it on through the stencil. My goal here was just to create some light lines. You know, I didn't want to go on the diagonal route. I wanted to keep it horizontal. So now I'm going to use the same stencil as a stamp. This pink spray is also a shimmers. It's from my stash though. That's not in the color kit. It's a spritz, and it's called Cotton Candy. But you do get the Well Blue Me Down and the foiled again, and that stencil in the color kit. So I'm just trying to create some different textures and some different colors by doing the packaging, by using the stencil. And that's a couple of different ways that you could use the stencil. You can use it what it was meant to be used for, and, you know, scrape the material or the product through it, or you can just spray right on top of it and turn it over and stamp it down, and you're going to get a really cool effect that way as well. Okay, so that dried, and then I took my paper and ran it through my sewing machine around the edges of both of these pieces of paper. I used pink thread up at the top and a teal aqua color thread at the bottom, and you can see the shimmery goodness of all of those colors from the shimmers there. I'm going to ruffle up the edges a little bit here just to kind of give it a little bit more texture and interest. And this is different for me. I haven't used pattern paper like this as a background design element in a long time, and so that's one great thing about sketches, is it gives you a starting point, and that's exactly what this sketch did. And if you are a member excuse me, on our member forum, you'll be able to find that sketch. It's one of the newer sketches that Kim Watson has designed, and we have 3 ladies who did layouts based on it, and it's part of a new challenge going on. So every so often there'll be new sketches for you to play with, and so that's what inspired me to do this layout. Now I'm just going to start working on my embellishing here. I'm going to use some of the December documented cards as layers, and then I'm going to use a bunch, almost all, of the snowflakes that are in the kits. Some of these are from the Snow and Cocoa crate paper collection. Some of these are from the exclusive die cut pack that Kim Watson designed. That little sheet of washi tape that I just used, it says Merry Christmas, that's an exclusive for the kits this month. It's a really cool, it's not like regular washi tape. It doesn't tear like regular washi tape does, but the quality of it is really, really neat. It sticks perfectly, and the colors are just beautiful. So I tried to find almost all of the pink, teal, and light colored snowflakes. And that's ironic because we live in Florida, so we have 0 snowflakes here. But that's okay because this is a Christmas page, and I wanted to convey Christmas and winter, and so that's what's going on here. And she's wearing a pink shirt, and so all of the pink just matches perfectly. Those are the washi stars. They're made from the same material as the washi tape. They're very thin, very pretty. So I'm just kind of using the pink ones and the teal ones and just kind of scattering them around the page. Excuse me again. Now I'm just going to play with some of the flare buttons. I do wind up using that pink one with the little Christmas tree on it. And I thought I had hit record, but of course my brain was malfunctioning and I forgot to hit record. I added the flare button there on my picture with some thread behind it, and I stuck down all of those snowflakes. And I also added some thread to the upper left where that pink snowflake is. So I struggled with trying to come up with a title for this. I sat and thought for a long time, what could I make that would convey our thoughts every time we would have to go after our child and tell her to get out of the tree. And something that we said all the time is, oh, she's doing it again. And every time me or my husband would say this, we would know what was going on. And so I decided to make that my title. She's doing it again, because trust me, she did it a million times, and she'll probably do it again this year. But that's just how she is. She's fascinated with things that she shouldn't be getting into. And I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's not a big deal. It's funny. She's just curious, and she likes to try to stick her foot in there. She likes to try to stick her hand in there. She's like a little puppy dog. And we had to rig up a thing that goes on top of it so she can't get in there anymore. But she definitely tries. It's kind of funny. Anyway, so that's my title. Now I'm going to come in with some of the Pink Fresh Studio washi strips, and it says Bring on the Twinkle. I thought that was cute. And then a lot of the little exclusive stickers. Kim Watson did a fantastic job of designing these. There's so many different phrases and words and sayings. That one says Our Pretty Tree. And then I'm going to use this one that says Oh Boy. I thought that was funny because, you know, she's doing something she's not supposed to. And then this one says A December to Remember. Definitely was. And a lot of those phrases are generic. They're not necessarily winter or Christmas related, so you could use them on anything. This one says Mischievous Elf, and I thought that was hilarious because that is definitely a good description of her. I believe that one says Such Fun Memories. And I definitely wanted to use one of these adorable crate paper clips. They're very bulky, so be careful, you know, if you don't want your pages to have a lot of bulk. I used it as a layer there. I tucked it in underneath my picture just because it was a snowflake, and I liked the way it looked over there, so I just glued it down. Eventually, I glue it down, so it just stays right there. And I'm going to come in with some sequins. I first went with the shiny gold sequins, but then once I looked at it, it just kind of darkened things up. I don't know, maybe it didn't. Now that I'm looking at it, it doesn't look that bad, but they just were kind of dark, I guess. And you know how hard it is to see gold sometimes, especially in pictures. The gold just looks dark. So I pull these all up. It just looks kind of like I used black splatters everywhere. I don't know. I didn't like it. So I pulled those up, and then I replaced them with the light aqua ones. And I like that better because they're a little more subtle. These sequins are gorgeous. The mix is so pretty. There's big ones, there's small ones, there's shiny ones, there's flat color. They're so pretty. Sequins are the perfect little embellishment to add here and there. So I'm going to come in with my ruler and add some lines and then add my journaling. And then off camera I do a little bit of stitching through those sentiment stickers, and then I add a couple more splatters. And I do add an apostrophe because she's needs an apostrophe, and there weren't any. So I cut a little piece off of the hashtag and made an apostrophe. Gotta have my grammar right. Or my punctuation, I guess you could say. So there's my final page. I did a little bit of stitching, added the date, and a couple more sequins on some of the snowflakes, and that is it. I really had a great time putting this together. I love incorporating the color kit into things. I love that I didn't even need to use my Cameo for any of this. I used strictly things from the kits. And I love how the title turned out. I like how it looks lined up against that sheet of paper, kind of justified there on the right. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you're enjoying your hip kits. We're loving seeing what you guys are making with these. Keep posting them to the forum. Everybody's doing such a beautiful job, and the kits are just so pretty this month. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Have a great day.